Coming up next, candidates pushing hard to appeal to young voters both here and abroad. It's a challenge.
And it's like, we've done all this and there's nothing to show for it.
Plus, setting up for national sports shows to broadcast from Penn State on a monster football weekend.
And the debate over a longer airport runway in State College. Is it a real possibility? The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Haley Jacobs.
And I'm Dylan Price. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, Election Day, is just 4 days away, and there are both political and legal battles happening. Republicans have appealed a Pennsylvania court decision that would relax the rules for mail-in ballots. They're asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a lower court opinion issued this week. A divided appeals court ruled mail-in ballot envelopes do not need to have been accurately hand-dated.
Presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are locked in a very tight race here in Pennsylvania, and they've both made more stops here. Harris made a campaign visit to Harrisburg on Wednesday, part of a multi-state blitz that included North Carolina and Wisconsin. Trump has also been in PA this week. He held an event in Allentown. 19 electoral votes are up for grabs in our state. Political campaigns spend a lot of time and money courting younger voters. Despite their effort, young people don't vote in big enough numbers to sway an election. It's an issue both here in the U.S. and in the UK. Reporter Olivia Dunn was part of our Penn State journalism team that traveled overseas recently. She has more on the question of young voters.
23-year-old Shania O'Delawa says the UK government made empty promises to her generation.
If I do this course, if I do that, if I go to college, if I go to university, I'll get a good job. And it's like, we've done all this and there's nothing to show for it.
She's a recent university grad now earning her master's degree while working as a freelance writer. Yet she's still living at home with her family.
I thought I'd move out into my own flat when I left uni. I'm back in my childhood room that I share with my sister. And I have a job. A lot of people think it's due to unemployment, but people have jobs. There's no money to go anywhere.
Her feelings are not unique in the UK or the US. Same for voting. Despite her issues with Britain's previous Conservative-led government, Shania was absent from the polls in July when the UK voted to replace the Conservatives with the Labour Party after 14 years of control.
So did you end up voting in this election?
No, I did not, which was very tough for me because I've always been one of those, like, go out and vote, you're lazy, get out and vote kind of person, which I still do agree with because I feel like voting is the easiest way you can participate in a democracy. But, I remember my friend said something which was stuck with me, is that you can't force people to participate in a system allegedly based on choice. And it really felt like there was no choice this election.
She's not alone. Turnout for young voters in the UK hit an all-time low in the 2019 election. And when the dust settles from this year's vote, the numbers are expected to be just as dismal. The US comparison looks similar. U.S. Census numbers show only about 30% of 18-year-olds registered to vote 2 years ago. And in big elections dating back decades, 18 to 24-year-old voter turnout is far below other age groups. Roger Mortimer, a political expert and professor at King's College, says in the UK, the lines between Labour and Conservative are fading, and so is the youth vote.
Some of them will have felt that none of the parties were really standing for what they believed in. A few of them obviously will have voted for Conservatives or other parties, but for most of them it was a choice. Do I really love the Labour Party? And I think generally the answer was no.
Ultimately leaves the question.
Key data tells the same story. Sir John Curtis, professor of politics at Scotland's University of Strathclyde, reports 18 to 24-year-olds voted for the Labour Party 19% less than they did in 2019. The Conservatives, 10% less. Dissatisfied with both major parties, younger voters pivoted, specifically toward third parties like Reform UK, which was up 8% since 2019, the Green Party, up 14%, and Liberal Democrats, up 1%.
Because Labour was trying to chase more socially conservative Leave voters and try to increase its popularity in that group, there probably was a cost.
In Glasgow, 20-year-old Amy Catiles joined one of those independent parties. In fact, she ran for office in Glasgow East, representing the Green Party. She said the biggest appeal of the Greens to her and her age group is their stance on the environment.
It was fresh, it was new, it was people who actually listened to not just young people on what they believe about the environment, but environmentalists everywhere. And so I think that appeals to a lot of young people who, have the same views, But even on other issues, I think especially trans and LGBT rights is a big talking point among young people at the moment.
Rachel and Matthew are two prime examples of young voters straying away from the two-party norm. The college students in Glasgow each voted for independent parties. Fourth-year Matthew Carter voted out of protest.
So I just thought, what's closest to my ideals, but still a protest vote, because I was never going to vote for one of the big parties.
While second-year Rachel Henderson voted for the Greens.
I just kind of went in with the intentions of voting for not who I knew was going to win, but who I felt most comfortable having my name next to.
Deputy political editor for the Sunday Times of London, Harry York, is familiar with these independent parties. He's covered Reform UK, an independent right-wing party, and says voting independently is a growing trend for young voters.
I think there's a very real prospect that if the Labour Party don't get to grips with some of the key issues in this country, the salient issues on immigration and home ownership and house building, then you will see those fringe parties, I think more to the right, but potentially to the left, continue to grow in popularity.
Back in America, independent or third parties don't have nearly the traction they do in the UK. As London bureau chief for the New York Times, Mark Landler suggests, the US system is built differently.
In the level of parallels, you do have, fundamentally a two-party system in each country, conservatives and Labor and Republicans and Democrats. But because this is a parliamentary system, you do have significant third and fourth parties, which don't exist in the United States.
U.S. presidential campaigns have made a big push to drive young voters to the polls. If they can, that younger demographic could help tip the scales. But results in the UK once again show that's a tough sell. In London and Glasgow, I'm Olivia Dunn for the Centre County Report.
We'll bring you live coverage on election night with a special report as the polls close at 8. Then we'll bring you live updates hourly with race results throughout the evening. You can also find updates on our Centre County Report social media channels.
Penn State students can cast their votes in the election in just 4 days, but not all students on campus can do that. I caught up with 2 international students to get their thoughts.
But Pennsylvania, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough.
From now until Election Day, we are going to get out the vote here in Pennsylvania.
Both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have been hammering home the impact of the young voters in the election, particularly in Pennsylvania. In turn, both campaigns have targeted the 40,000 students at Penn State, but over 10,000 of those students won't be hitting the polls.
I sort of see Penn State as just like my place to study, so having there be so much chaos and so many different groups coming here, it is a little strange, to say the least.
Daniela Rubio is a Venezuelan senior who currently lives in Qatar. Her first election cycle has been a change of pace.
I grew up with like a monarchy, so I've basically never been through election seasons before. So yeah, it is a little strange.
Camille Corbani is a senior from Lebanon, and she too has noticed the differences.
I think the biggest difference is how much importance you guys put on student votes. I think back home you don't really have that mobilization of younger people, especially because a lot of us have immigrated abroad.
While Corbani and Rubio both have admitted the groups on campus can be a lot sometimes, Corbani still finds amusement in it.
Sometimes I will go into the conversation and be like, oh, I can't vote, or have them do their whole speech and then be like, sorry, I can't vote, and grab a snack.
Both Corbani and Rubio said they're eager, like others across the world, to see how the election pans out.
Both students mentioned that back home, their families and countries are tuned into the outcome as well.
Donald Trump will not be at the Penn State football game tomorrow as originally planned. The university confirmed to us that Trump's campaign told Penn State he will no longer attend the game at Beaver Stadium. Instead, his campaign schedule shows a rally in Salem, Virginia.
But there will be plenty of other guests and national attention on the Penn State-Ohio State game. National football pregame shows will be here for a big Top 5 matchup.
All eyes are on Happy Valley this weekend thanks to its Top 5 football game. Junior Adam Brame is ecstatic about the attention.
I think it's great recognition for Penn State. You know, it's obviously cool to have a top 4 matchup. Doesn't happen a lot here.
Outside the Bryce Jordan Center, stage and equipment setup began midweek. Fox's Big Noon Kickoff show will air live from 10 till noon. It marks the group's second show here in under a month. Michael Hardy, an ambassador for Fox Sports, gave his pitch for fans to attend the show.
We're Fox, man. what we do, bring that energy, and we just like to get the crowd involved. I think the biggest thing is just, like I said, $500 poster contest winner, $5,000 sweepstakes. That's big. We're standing on that and just having those guest performances coming into as well.
Less than a football field away, ESPN's College Game Day will broadcast from 9 till noon. It's the 10th time the show has visited Penn State and the first in 3 years. Both Big Noon and Game Day boast star-studded crews with former national champions, Heisman winners, and NFL players. Game Day also announced the celebrity guest picker will be Penn State alum and actor Keegan-Michael Key. And he's not alone. Former Philadelphia Eagle Jason Kelsey announced he'd be making the trip on his New Heights podcast.
We have a big announcement. I'm officially going to Happy Valley. That's right, Penn State this week.
Junior Morgan McCaffrey says she'll be going to Game Day.
I just think the atmosphere is better. Like, if you watch both, like, there's such a difference. Like, Pat McAfee, what he brings to the game day, it just makes it so much more fun and, like, engaging rather than, like, the Big Noon kickoff. I feel like that one, when I saw it was here, I was like, like, whatever.
Braden will be going as well, and he thinks he'll be one of many to pick Game Day over Big Noon.
I think a lot of people are going to show up to College Game Day. It kind of seems like the Big Noon kick time isn't what everyone wants, so people might be boycotting Big Noon, but we'll see.
Both shows will move into the stadium at 11:30 to wrap up before kickoff.
With all that going on, one potential issue before the game is traffic. Reporter Thomas English is live on campus with more. Thomas?
Thanks, Dylan. Good afternoon to you and Haley. The College Game Day set behind me, which is currently testing its speakers, and the Fox Big Noon kickoff set up the hill are ready to go. But this monster matchup on Halloween weekend could turn into some nightmares for fans as they arrive for a busy morning around the stadium.
A top 5 matchup, 110,000 fans, 2 national pregame shows. A great football Saturday, but a recipe for travel trouble, especially with the noon kickoff.
Just getting there early. A lot of people are always going to be there before kickoff, so you'll see that the traffic volume continues and gets very, very busy around 10 to 11.
Fans are encouraged to arrive extra early with ESPN's College Game Day and Fox's Big Noon kickoff shows broadcasted. Some plan a very early wake-up call to grab a spot and avoid traffic.
I'm sure they're probably worried. I think people worry about it on a normal game day, let alone for a big game like this. I would say they're probably just going to leave really, really early.
Penn State Police wouldn't talk to us on camera, but said, "We encourage fans and those traveling in and around campus on Saturday to arrive early and to exercise patience when arriving and departing." Fox's events begin at 8:30, while game day starts at 9 a.m. Parking lots open at 7 a.m.
Curtin Road will be closed between Bigler and Porter Road throughout the day, and one-way traffic restrictions will go into effect at 9:30 a.m. Live from University Park, I'm Thomas English. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Thomas. Penn State football coach James Franklin recently talked about the need for runway expansion at the State College Airport. The goal would be to allow planes with larger loads, like the ones taking Penn State and other teams cross-country. Ethan Ellis looked into what it would take for an expansion.
A newly expanded Big Ten has brought challenges of all kinds for conference schools. One of them, more cross-country travel. Penn State football had to bus to Harrisburg to fly to California for the USC game this season. The reason? State College Airport can't handle larger planes with the fuel load needed for longer haul flights. Before the game, James Franklin advocated for runway expansion to solve the problem. But that's easier said than done, according to Representative Paul Takak.
You're looking at impact studies. You have to do quite a bit of planning. I don't know that they've ever formally put down on paper what the development plans are. I would imagine that it's years.
And while there has been talks about extending the runway, the cost would be another issue.
So it is on the plans, but the costs are fairly significant.
The plan he's referring to is the 2015 Airport Master Plan, which estimated the cost of an extension to be in the range of $100 million. Expanding the runway by 800 feet would require the relocation of Minuteman Road behind me, and also the purchase of the field behind these trees to serve as the runway protection zone. And if the airport wanted to double that and extend it by over 1,600 feet, it would also mean rerouting Rock Road on the other side of the runway and purchasing even more land. We asked the airport for comment. Officials sent us a statement from the university, which owns the land the runway is on. It reads in part, the State College Airport does currently accommodate large narrow-body aircraft with weight limitations, and a longer runway would be an ideal outcome. In Benner Township, I'm Ethan Ellis for the Center County Report.
Penn State football does not have any more West Coast trips scheduled in the regular season.
How's the weather looking for this weekend? We'll check the 7-day forecast.
And we take you trick-or-treating as Center County residents enjoy Halloween. Also coming up, we preview the top 5 matchup at Beaver Stadium, the Nittany Lions and Ohio State.
When we first met Todd, he was singing a song, and I was like, wow, look at this kid with the biggest smile.
Todd's a joy.
Yes.
Todd's really is a great joy.
And you. Learn about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids are facing hunger every day? Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Keep going, keep going.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Lots of local kids are spending today eating candy from last night's Halloween haul. Look at all those goodies. We checked out the Halloween scene around State College last night. Lots of people had their spooky decorations up along with their bowls of candy ready to be emptied. Ghosts, goblins, minions, all kinds of costumes were on the streets as kids went door to door collecting candy. The weather was good too, a warm night and no rain until the overnight hours. Speaking of the weather, let's check it in with Sean Romeo for the forecast.
Well, thanks, Haley. As you mentioned last night, we did have a little bit of rain in the overnight hours, which actually broke a 17-day dry spell. So that's actually really good news that we did get a little bit of sprinkles at least. It's 66 right now at the Arboretum. A comfortable day after a little bit of those showers we had last night, so it'll be really nice out there. It's not going to be those 75, 80s we saw yesterday, but it'll be a little more fall-like as we go through the afternoon, especially. It's, 50s out in the west there as that cold front slowly works its way east, but it's 75 down here already in Allentown, 70 in Philadelphia. So it is going to be comfortable in the eastern half of the state. I mean, generally comfortable overall for this time of year. It's kind of ridiculous. Up to 64 around 2 p.m. here, and the temperatures will fall as we get into the overnight hours. Around midnight, down to the 40s already by that point, and then we're going to get into the 30s as we actually go forward to the overnight lows. Look at this. We're talking about 36 here in State College, same in Bradford. A little warmer down towards Harrisburg, which is normal. Same thing out towards Johnstown, a little cooler like normal. Chilly, some clouds around. Again, nothing really to worry about. Tomorrow, though, there's the big one. Ohio State, Penn State at noon. Chilly start to the day as you're getting your tailgates fired up, so, it'd be nice to put your hands over a warm fire if you're doing something like that. But it will be a very autumnal, comfortable day as we go through the day tomorrow. So that'll be a good time just to be outside. If you are outside for the game, it's really perfect weather. It's that Big Ten football weather we really like here in State College. Futurecast, northern tier clouds tonight. That'll be the main issue that we'll have to worry about as we go into the day tomorrow. That's a totally different story, though, where we have clear skies almost completely by the afternoon, by the end of the game, especially if you're out tailgating after the game. Perfect weather to be out there, just sort of hanging out with friends, whatever you're doing. Also traveling back home, no issues whatsoever, especially on Sunday. Sunday will be a totally clear day across the entire portion of the state. A little bit of high clouds later in the evening, but that's nothing really we have to worry about. The next time we're going to see rain is probably going to be Wednesday. That's when this warm front kind of lifts its way through. It's a whole system all connected here. And then it will clear back out. By the end of the week, we will have really nice weather next Friday and hopefully for the whiteout on Saturday as well. As we look into our 7-day forecast, we are setting our clocks back. That is going to be on Saturday night after the game, so we'll catch an extra hour of sleep. That's probably what will be a very exhausting day. But then looking forward, it's 70 on Election Day again. These 70s are really quite ridiculous, if you ask me to tell you the truth.
Oh my goodness, Mother Nature needs to make up her mind. One day I'm wearing a tank top, the next I'm putting a jacket on. It's hard.
It's November. Let's start seeing some fall weather here, seriously.
Sean, you said it best. It's starting to feel a little bit like Big Ten football weather. Thank you. And speaking of Big Ten football, let's send it to Josh with sports.
Up next in sports, Penn State men's hockey is on the rise, but they have a challenging weekend ahead of them on the road. Plus, all eyes will be on Beaver Stadium tomorrow for a highly anticipated top 5 matchup. We'll preview the big game.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. And if you're like me, your pets mean the world to you. And if disaster strikes, saving them is a priority. Learn how to keep your best friends safe at AmericanHumane.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music.
Yeah.
Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
I'm Josh Bartosik with sports. For the first time in 25 years, Beaver Stadium will host a top 5 matchup as Ohio State comes to town for Penn State's biggest game of the year.
Coming off a win at Wisconsin, Penn State is back home for the first time in a month to take on Ohio State. It's the first top 5 matchup at Beaver Stadium since 1999. Despite the energy around campus, James Franklin says it's just another game.
They're all big games. This is the big game because of how we've handled the previous 6. So we don't change our process. I can't control the noise and the things that are outside this building.
There are some question marks for the Lions. Quarterback Drew Aller and defensive end Denai Dennis Sutton were hurt last week. Dennis Sutton was not at Wednesday's practice, but Aller took part in drills.
At this stage, no new information for you guys, game time decisions. But so far, so good, and getting both Bo and Drew a ton of reps in practice.
The Nittany Lions have lost the last 7 games against the Buckeyes, including a 20-12 loss last season.
I feel like that was a game we definitely could have won, but that was last year. We on it this year. We got another opportunity this week, and we're going to take advantage of it.
Kickoff for the game is at noon, and you can listen live on Penn State Comm Radio with our broadcast team at Beaver Stadium. Now to high school football, it's playoff time. Let's look around the District 6 games on the schedule. Unbeaten Penn Cambria will host Central tonight. That's after the Whistle's game of the week, and our team will be there. And Tyrone will head to Forest Hills. Kickoff there is set for 7 p.m. And we're set for a clash as 7-3 Bellwood Antis travels to 8-2 River Valley. You can see highlights on After the Whistle live at 11:30 tonight on our YouTube channel. Penn State men's hockey looks to keep a 2-game winning streak alive as they hit the road this weekend. The Lions swept St. Lawrence last weekend at Pagula and are now ranked 18th nationally. But it's about to get a whole lot tougher. Penn State plays at number 4 Minnesota this weekend. That's all for sports. Now back to you, Haley and Dylan. Yeah, guys, big matchup for both hockey and football this weekend.
Big might be an understatement. A lot of good slidey puck and pigskin this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Penn State football game, but I got to get up really, really early to beat that traffic.
Thanks, Josh. Coming up next, one of the oldest women in the world lives right here in Pennsylvania. How old is she and where does she live? We'll have the answers right after the break.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
There's been another deadly shooting at a local elementary school. According to authorities, the suspect acquired the gun from a family member's home before using it to take the lives of innocent children and teachers.
Store your gun securely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Take control at ready.gov/olderadults.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
A 114-year-old Pennsylvania woman is now believed to be the oldest living person in North America. Naomi Whitehead lives in Greenville, Mercer County. She was born in 1910 and credits her long life to good genes, baking, drawing, and listening to music. She also says she's never smoked or drank. Pretty interesting stuff there. Well, that's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Tuesday for our next local update.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X, and you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
In Iraq, our truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm, and I was about to lose